Banking and Insurance of SST College of Arts and Commerce. We have an eminent personality with us. Let us introduce the person. He has done MIS in Finance, CAIIB and JAIIB in banking sector. He's also worked with the Federal Bank as a assistant manager. He has industrial experience of more than 8 years and also have a teaching experience of 7.5 years. He's pursuing PhD and has published many research papers. So please everyone, let us call our respected Assistant Professor Prathmesh Tawade. He's an Assistant Professor in NM College. Very welcome to you, sir. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
ओके सो सर आज हमारे साथ हैं, हमें बैंकिंग में करियर्स एंड अपॉर्चुनिटी के बारे में गाइड करने वाले हैं. सो ओवर टू यू सर. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayur sir. First of all, I would like to thank SST College. I would like to thank their management for giving me this opportunity to express my whatever information which I have as far as the banking is concerned and a career in banking is concerned. Now, this particular banking as a sector, it is really close to my heart because basically I'm coming from a banking industry. My father was a banker, my wife is a banker, I was banker at one point of time. And in throughout this particular, let's say, the banking journey which is there, the one thing which I have realized is that if somebody want to make a career which is a secured at the same time wherein they will get an opportunity to grow, then the sector which can be each and every one of you as a student can look out for is that of your banking sector. So today I will just try to give you an overview about what is particular, what are the different career opportunities as far as the banking sector is all about, and how when it comes to a banking sector, then that case, how you people can approach as far as the banking examinations are concerned, the different aspects of the banking careers are concerned. So I will start with the presentation. Now, since we are having the students who are from the rural area as well, therefore in between we may be using that particular bilingual language, wherein some aspects which are there we can be using in a Hindi as well. Now, the first and foremost, the first thing with which I want to start with my presentation is showing you a small picture. Now, you will find out that there are two pictures which are there. In one particular picture, there is a lot of crowd which is there in a branch. In another picture, there is no crowd. तो आप देख सकते हो कि एक जगह पे एक ब्रांच है जो एकदम फुल भरी हुई ब्रांच है, और दूसरी की जगह पे एक ब्रांच है जिधर कोई भी नजर नहीं आ रहा. Now, this is what is going to be the future as far as the banking industry is concerned. Now, at a one point of time, we have seen that the banking industry, it was completely driven by the people. And today, you will find out that in a banking industry, there are a lot of innovations which are happening in the form of artificial intelligence, in the form of machine learning. So in future, it may happen that the picture which you are seeing in a one part, that is where crowded branches are there, that picture you people may not see in next 20 to 25 years. So the picture which will be there, that will be on the other one, wherein you have seen the small ATM-like branches and no people are there. So in that case, the question which can come into your mind, if this is going to be the future of the banking, then as a banking and finance or as a banking and insurance student, are we able to get an opportunity to work in a banking industry? Remember one thing, whatever the technology can do, however the technology can change, but one thing which will remain sure is that for any finance related matter, you would always like to work, or you would always like to, let's say, believe on the people who are giving that particular advice to you. So although the machine can also give advice today with the new technology, but still, when it comes to a money matter, when it comes to the money related matter, we still try to believe on the people who are giving that particular advice. So although all the technology, जो ये technology है वो technology banking industry change करेगी, but ये technology it cannot replace a human being. वो आपको as a human being करके replace नहीं कर सकते. Now, in order to understand a career opportunity in any industry, the one thing which anyone, a student or a candidate who is going to work in that particular industry need to understand about the structure of that particular industry. So probably many of you would have gone through this particular structure as far as the banking industry is concerned in your a banking related subject or in your economics related subject. But again, I would like you all to revisit this particular concept of the banking or to revisit this particular structure, not from the exam perspective, not from the exam point of view, but from the point of view that what are the job opportunities which can be available to you as far as this particular sector is concerned. So unless and until you do not understand the structure of the banking industry, you as an individual will not be able to understand where are the opportunities are there for you people to work in the banking industry. So if you see at the top, there is a RBI, then you have a scheduled bank, non-scheduled bank. So there is an opportunity to work in a regulator or let's say the banker of the bank like that of your RBI as well. Then when it comes to a scheduled bank, in a scheduled bank, you have a commercial bank, you have a small finance bank, payment banks, which are coming up. Small finance and the payment bank, they are coming up like anything from the last, let's say 10 to 15 years, last 10 years specifically. Then in a commercial bank, there are opportunity to work with the public sector bank. We will look into it, how to crack that particular public sector bank and what kind of the exams are required to be given as far as a public sector bank is concerned. And at the same time, there is an equal job opportunity, and at the same time, which will be a more challenging one in the private sector bank as well. Then there are foreign banks wherein you can get that particular opportunity. Then you have a regional rural banks as well. So basically, those students who are from a rural area and who want to work in the rural area, they can really get a good opportunity to work in a bank like that of your regional rural bank. So every state, they have their own regional rural bank. So there are a lot of employment opportunities are available. Then you have a cooperative bank. So you go to any states, you go to metro city, you go to the village area as well, or a town, tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. You will find out that the cooperative banks, they have their dominance. So especially in the states like that of your Maharashtra, then Gujarat, then Madhya Pradesh, you will find out that the cooperative banks, they are as strong as that of your other commercial banks as well. So now cooperative bank also, there is an opportunity which can be there for you as a student to work into. And then there are certain developments bank like that of your NABARD, Export Import Bank, Housing Development Bank, Industrial Development Bank. And again, these particular banks which are there, they are also offering a good opportunity, a good career opportunity to do a work or to work into the banking sector. Now, one thing which I have not shown in this particular PPT, but which is becoming more and more relevant today, and which is closely related or which is a complementary as far as the banking industry is concerned, that is about your fintech company. So those people who are from an IT background and those who want to work into that particular, let's say a banking industry, having that particular banking domain knowledge, those who have a knowledge of the banking, plus those who have a knowledge of the IT as well, these people, they can get an opportunity into fintech industry as well. So fintech industry, although it is not a part of, let's say from the theoretical perspective, the fintech industry is it's different from that of the banking industry. वो दोनों industry अलग है, but ये दोनों industry जो है वो एक साथ ही चलते हैं. So along with the banking industry, whatever your horizon or whatever you are looking out as far as your careers are concerned, then in that case, you should not restrict yourself only to the banking industry, but you can try to figure it out whether you can get any job opportunities as far as the fintechs are concerned. Because the model which they will be using, that will be more or less similar to that of your banking models which are there. So after understanding the structure, please try to remember that in each and every category or in each and every layer which is there, as far as this particular structure is concerned, in each and every layer, you can get a opportunity or you have that particular career opportunity which is there. So whenever now onward you are looking out, आप आगे से जब भी आप बैंक्स में देख रहे हो काम करने के लिए, then in that case you need to look into this particular structure and you need to figure it out where you yourself can fit into this particular structure which is there. Now, what are the employment opportunity? And there are certain good news which are there for the students who are looking out for this or students who are watching this particular webinar on a YouTube. RBI, they had declared 2010 to 2020 as a decade of the retirement. So you will find out that when you are going through that particular history of the banking, then there was a lot of recruitment which happened in the field of banking way back in the 1970s. So when your nationalization of the banks and everything happened at that particular point of time, there was a lot of recruitment which happened. And you will find out that those people who got recruited in the 1970s, which was a mega recruitment which happened, now all those people, they will get it retired somewhere in 2010, 2020. So RBI, they declared this particular 2010 to 2020 decade as a decade of the retirement. And it is expected that around 3.4 lakhs of employees from all these particular categories will be retiring in this particular decade. And they have already retired. More than 3 lakh people, they have retired from the banking industry. Now, although we say that the technology is there, the technology might have reduced the number of the job, but still there is a large potential which is available as far as your banking industry is concerned. So there is a lot of employment opportunity which is still out there, even after the technology replacing lot of your routine works which are there. So take a simple example. When we visit any branches nowadays, or when you visit any ATM machine or ATM, then that time you will find out that next to the ATM, there will be a printing machine, passbook printing machine. But although the passbook printing machine is there, still you will find out that the clerical staff which is there, that has not been replaced. See, if we go through the history of the banking, you will find out that the first ATM which was there in India, that was way back in the 1960s. And in the 1960s, when the ATM as a concept was introduced in the banking industry, then that time the people, they thought that the cashiers who are there, they are going to be replaced when the ATMs will be introduced. We are today in a 2022. There are a lot of ATMs, a lot of high-tech ATMs also, which has been installed by the different banks in the different parts of the India. But still you will find out that today also, the cashier in the bank, they have not been replaced. So many times it may happen that the people may try to frighten you, stating that the technology is taking over the banking industry. But remember one thing, although the technology is taking over the banking industry, it is not going to completely replace you. Another good news, that it is expected that the banking sector and the allied sector which is there, that will create around 20 lakhs job in the next 5 to 10 years. That is what the experts believe. But always remember one thing, along with the certain good things, there will be a certain pinching things or the certain bad things which also be there. First, before moving on to what that particular bad things or what that particular challenge of working in the bank is all about, we will try to understand what are the employment opportunities which has been provided as far as the banking sector is concerned. Now, if you see this particular chart, if you see this particular table, you will find out that there are public sector bank, private sector bank, foreign banks, RRBs, and the small finance bank as well. Now, if you see, there has been a lot of increase as far as the officers are concerned. So you will find out that in case of your, let's say, the public sector bank, the officers, the clerical staffs which are there, that particular officer and the clerical staff, that is increasing over a period of time. And if you compare it with the private sector bank, So take an example here. Now, in this case, you will find out that the number of the officers in a private sector bank from 2017-18 to 2018-19 and 19-20, that has increased drastically. But at the same time, you will find out that when it comes to a clerical position, as far as a clerical position in the banks are concerned, this particular clerical position in the private sector banks, that has gone down. So the simple thing is that nowadays you will find out that the private sector banks which are there, they are recruiting more of officers who will do the task, a clerical staff, a clerical task which is there. So आपके डेजिग्नेशन ऑल्दो ऑफिसर्स होंगे, बट आप जो टास्क कर रहे हो, आप जो बैंक में जॉब कर रहे हो, वो जॉब आपका इक्विवेलेंट रहेगा एक क्लरिकल जॉब, which will be the clerks, which will be the clerical job which the people in a public sector do. So normally क्या हो जाता है कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स में आपके जो जॉब टाइटल्स होते हैं, वो जॉब टाइटल्स आपके डेकोरेटेड जॉब टाइटल्स होते हैं. For example, in case of a public sector bank, they call it as a cashier or they call it as a tailor. In a private sector bank, they may not call you as a cashier, they may not call you as a tailor, but instead of it, they may call you as a cash officer. So आपको वो एक officer category में डाल देते हैं. Now, a bad thing as far as this particular sector is concerned, that is about a competition. And this particular competition which is there, that is a cutthroat competition. As far as a bank PO examinations are concerned, or probationary officer examinations are concerned, you will find out that the passing percentage or the rate of the success which is there, that is hardly 8%. And over a period of time, that particular passing rate which is there, the passing percentage which is there, that has not changed drastically. Now, if you see, this is a statistics which I have taken it from the IBPS report, which was published by the IBPS. You will find out that for the IBPS PO examination, in the year 2019-20, there were about 12.52 lakhs application. And in 2021, there was around 6 lakhs application, 6.78 lakhs. Same, you will find out that the same level of the competition which is there in the clerical post as well. So for a IBPS clerical examination, there will be more than 12.5 lakhs application, 7 lakh applications. Then for the specialist officer, around 12 lakh applications. For the regional rural bank, where the recruitment will be done by the IBPS, again around 12 to 13 lakh application. And out of this, how many of the candidates will get it selected? Hardly there will be 1,000 or less than 1,000 posts which will be available. So good thing is that there is a lot of employment opportunity for you people. But at the same time, the bad thing or the challenging part or the challenging task which is there for you people is that in this particular sector, there is a lot of competition and there is a cutthroat competition which is there. Now, if you clear this particular competition, if you able to stand out, आप ये competition में stand out करके आप अगर आगे जा रहे हो और बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री का देख रहे हो, then in that case, what job profile you can expect for? Which kind of the job profile you can get? आपको कौन से job मिल सकते हैं? Now, basically, in a bank, whether it's a cooperative bank, whether it's a public sector bank, whether it's a private bank, more or less, the job profile which is there, the titles which are there, they will be more or less same. Firstly, there can be a clerical post. Then there can be a probationary officer, or sometimes they call it as a management trainee as well. So in a private sector bank, probably they may not call it as a probationary officer. They may call it as a management trainee. But the job which the probationary officer will do, which the clerical, which the management trainee will do, that both the jobs which are there, they will be same. Then there can be another category, which can be a specialist officer. Now we will try to see what exactly the job these particular people do, and if you are preparing or if you are looking for that particular IBPS examination, then in that case, what will be the preparation which you need to make, what will be the paper pattern, and then what will be the eligibility criteria which need to be there. Now, the first is your clerical post. Now, always remember one thing, that if you want to understand the banking in a fullest way, in a complete way, then one good thing which can be there as far as the banking is concerned, one way to enter into a banking sector and to understand the banking sector is by doing a clerical work. Now, normally what happened when it comes to a clerical staff, these particular clerical staff, they act as a face of the bank. So they are the front end staff who will interact with the customer more, and they will act as a face of that particular branch in which they are working. Because what happened, whatever your work is there related to your banking work, whether you want to deposit a cash, whether you want to deposit a check, whether you want to take a demand draft, whether you want to withdraw the cash, whether you want to fill that particular account opening form and all, then all this work which is there, that can be get it done by these particular clerical people. So they will do the entry level job which is there, and since they are doing that particular entry level job, they will be directly interacting with the customer. So the clerical staff, they always know the pulse of the customer. आपके जो clerical staff है, उनको आपके customer के बारे में ज्यादा जानकारी होती है rather than the manager of the bank, because the manager of the bank may meet only with a handful of the customer. The clerical staff which is there, they will keep on visiting, or they will keep on meeting with all the customers who are coming to the branches, because whenever the customers are coming to the branches, the first point of interaction which they will have it, rather than that, apart from that of your security guard of the bank, is your clerical staffs who are there. So clerical staff, they can be put into a different counter. For example, they can be put into account opening counter. So in that particular account opening counter, they need to ensure that they are filling up the account opening form, they are collecting the KYC documents. Then they can be sitting at a cash deposit or a check deposit counter, wherein they will accept the cash. They can help the customers to withdraw the cash. Then they can accept that particular checks which are for the purpose of the deposit. Then they can be into credit card or a debit card counter as well, wherein whatever debit card has come, they can give it to the customer, they can give their password to the customers, they can take their signatures. Then in certain cases, if the branch is small, then in that case, the clerical staff which is there, that particular clerical staff can also look at the loan processing as well. That means whatever documents are required, whatever applications are required for that particular loan, that particular loan application, that can also be filled by these particular clerical staffs which are there. Now, the eligibility criteria as far as your clerical staffs are concerned, they need to be of a minimum 20 age, maximum age limit should be of 28 years. Now, earlier, what used to happen before IBPS, Indian banking, the IBPS common exam was not there. Then that time, the different banks, they were having the different eligibility criteria. But now what has happened with the IBPS bank, with the IBPS, which is taking the examination for all the public sector bank, except that of your State Bank of India, there has been a standardization as far as your eligibility criteria is concerned. Normally what happened earlier, one bank, they may ask for 40% at a graduation level, another bank may ask for 60% at a graduation level. Now with the IBPS, that particular uniformity has come, particular standardization has come as far as that particular eligibility criteria is concerned. One thing, the clerical staff, they need to have a knowledge of the computers, because today majority of the banks in India, they are connected, they are working on the core banking solution, and you're in each and every branch. Even if you go into a remote part of the India, you will find out that these particular remote branches as well, now these branches will also have a computer. So the knowledge of the computer is must as far as the clerical staff is concerned. Now the examination pattern, now this examination pattern which I'm telling you, that is more from the perspective of your IBPS exam. In case of the private banks, probably they may have the examination or they may not have the examination. Sometime in some private banks, or especially in case of the cooperative banks also nowadays, they conduct the examination for recruiting that particular clerical people. So the examination pattern is basically there will be a prelims examination and there will be a mains examination. In case of the prelims examination, there will be three sections which will be there. One about the English language, wherein they will try to assess your knowledge of the English. Now, when here we say the knowledge of the English, then in that case, we are expecting as a bank, the bank is expecting that since the customer may be coming from the different background, therefore, there has to be a knowledge or as far as the working knowledge of the English is concerned. So on the English language, that will be tested. Then your quantitative aptitude, that means your numerical aptitude, that will be tested because you will be working as a banker. So since you're working as a banker and bank is all about the numbers, therefore you need to be good in numbers. And then there will be certain questions about a reasoning ability, which will test your common sense. Because although we say that a banking industry is about the numbers, but along with the numbers, it is about a common sense as well. Then once a candidate, he clears the prelim examination, then there will be a mains examination. And in the mains examination, the pattern will be, you will have questions related with the general awareness, because it is expected that as a banker, a good banker, he always have a good knowledge as far as the surrounding business environment is concerned. So he need to understand as a manager, let's say if you are working in a particular branch and if a particular person is coming you for a loan or a particular industry is coming you for the loan, then in that case, you need to understand in which phase that particular industry is going. So as a banker need to have a good knowledge as far as the surroundings are concerned, as far as the business environment is concerned. Then there will be a test of your general English. Then there will be a test of your reasoning ability and the computer aptitudes as well. And again, aptitude of a quantitative aptitude or a numerical aptitude. So more or less from the prelims and the main, the pattern which is there, that will be same. Only the thing is that your computer aptitude and your general awareness part which is there, that particular general awareness part, that is included as a part of your mains examination. Now, once you clear the examination, you will be called for the interview. And once you are called for the interview and you are selected, then as a junior associate or a clerk, you can expect a salary in the range of 11,765. So in-hand salary which a clerical person can get can vary from 11,765 to 31,540. Now, again, it will depend upon your location of the branch. So if you're working in a metro cities, since the standard of living is high, is costly as far as metro cities are concerned, therefore, you will be getting that particular pay scale, which will be enough in order to stay in that particular metro city. So आप अगर metro city में काम कर रहे हो तो आपकी जो salary है in hand salary, वो in hand salary आपकी ज्यादा होगी क्योंकि आपके expenses जो है वो metro city में ज्यादा रहते हैं as compared to that of आपके tier 2, tier 3 cities से. Second job opportunity or second career which can be done in case of your public sector bank, it can be done in case of your private sector bank or a cooperative bank, that is about a probationary officer. Now, when it comes to a probationary officer, it can be one of the best way to enter into a banking industry and to climb to the highest level as far as the banks are concerned. So you take an example of all the successful people as far as the banking industry is concerned. You take an example of Ms. Arundhati Bhattacharya, who was the chairman of SBI at one point of time. Now, she started her career in a State Bank of India as a probationary officer. So you will find out that today in most of the public sector bank, the people who are the MD, the people who are the chairman, these people, they have started their career in the bank as a probationary officer. So probationary officer, it is one of the best way by which you can really get into the higher position as far as the bank is concerned. But only the thing is that the students need to understand, the candidates need to understand is that if they are appointed as a probationary officer, normally what happens, you feel that you are an officer. So you need to do the work which is related with the officer only. You are not going to do the work which is a clerical, which the clerical staff is doing. Remember one thing, in a probationary officer in the initial period, he's supposed to do the clerical work, because in a banking sector, there is a concept of a maker and a checker. So one person will make the entry and the other person who is there, he will check the entry. Now, maker work will be done by the clerical staff and the checker work will be done by the officer. Now, if you are appointed as an officer, probationary officer, and if you don't know what exactly need to be checked as far as a clerical staff work is concerned, then in that case, you cannot be a good checker. Therefore, normally what happened, whenever any probationary officer is appointed, this particular probationary officer, he will be first for an initial 6 months to 9 months, or in certain cases for the 1 year as well, he will be doing the clerical activity. He will be doing that particular clerical work which is there. And then after 1 year, he will be start checking that particular clerical work, the work which the clerical staff is doing. So that by the 1 year, he will get an experience of what is the work which has been done by the clerical staff and what exactly is required to be checked as far as the clerical work is concerned. Sometime in certain banks, the probationary officer, they can also be given a task like that of your managing the loan, then managing the customer complaint or any other banking activities which are there. So probationary officer, once they complete the probation, their work which will be there, that will be more related with the supervising work. So for 1 year, you need to make it sure to your mind, as a probationary officer, I will be doing a clerical staff, clerical work, so that I will be able to understand what exactly I need to check it when I'm doing that particular probationary officer work or when I'm doing that particular officer work. Now, depending upon completion of the probation, your performance in the probation, once your probation is completed, then you will be appointed as an assistant manager or you will be appointed as an officer in any of the small branches or in any of the big branches, depending upon that particular requirement of the bank which is there. So there also you may be doing planning activity, how to run the branch. You can be doing a marketing activity. You can be doing the processing of the loan. You can be responsible if you are appointed as a probationary officer in a treasury department of the bank. Then in that case, you can be doing that particular investment management as well. Now, criteria, student, a candidate need to be graduate, minimum age of 21, maximum up to 26. Now, in certain cases, the banks, the private sector banks, they have their own different eligibility criteria as far as probationary officer or management trainees are concerned. Now, the examination pattern, it will be same as that of your clerical staff, wherein you will have the prelims examination and mains examination. In a prelims examination, it will be the test of your English language. Then they will test you your numerical ability. They will test you your common sense, that is your reasoning ability as well. And in the mains examination, this will be more difficult, challenging as compared to your clerical examination, wherein you will have a reasoning aptitude, you will have a computer aptitude, English language test. Then there will be a data analysis and interpretation, because when as an officer, you are expected to have a good knowledge as far as the analysis is concerned. So whenever any loan proposal will come, then that time you need to be very good in analyzing that particular loan proposal. So therefore, you need to be very good as far as your data analysis is concerned. You need to have a general awareness, the banking awareness, economic awareness. And lastly, the extra part which is there, the added one which is there as compared to that of your clerical examination, is that in a probationary officer mains examination, there will be a descriptive paper as far as your English language is concerned, wherein you may be asked to write a letter or you may be asked to write an essay. Now, reason why your English language in a descriptive way is tested out here, because as a probationary officer, your future career path, which is there, that will be the officer or that will be the branch manager. Now, when you are a branch manager, then on a daily basis, you may be required to communicate with your regional office, zonal office, head office. In certain cases, you will require to communicate with the regulators as well, with the local authorities as well. So that time it is expected that you have a good knowledge as far as the English is concerned. Now, once you are successful in your prelims, mains, and once you crack the interview, then the salary which you can be expecting, that can be somewhere in the range of 44,000 to 57,000. Then there are certain specialist officer as well. For example, if somebody of those who are listening on YouTube or the live streaming, if someone of you are from BSc CS or BSc IT, or somebody has done MBA in HR, somebody has done a BSc in agriculture economics, or somebody has done something in agriculture, then in that case, these people, they also have an opportunity to work in the bank as a specialist officer. Now, here what happened in case of a probationary officer, in case of the clerical staff, they will be doing more of a generalized activity. Now, in case of the specialist officer, what happened? Since they have a special skills, they have a special knowledge. Therefore, they will be doing an activity or they will be performing the task which will be restricted to a particular department only. So normally for the specialist officer also, the salary or the take home which is there, that is somewhere around 36 to 37,000. In certain cases, a specialist officer in a grade 3, they may get a CTC of around 18 lakh also. But again, for that, you will require to have a certain experience of working in a bank, and then only you can go up in that particular scale which is there. Now, some other opportunity apart from that of your let's say the banks which are there, apart from your IBPS examinations which are there, there can be an employment opportunity in a RBI. So RBI every year they have their let's say the examinations which they conduct to recruit the assistant managers. So in a RBI also there are grade B, grade C assistant managers or the officers posts which are there. Then those people who are interested to work in a rural area, they can try to figure it out, the employment opportunities which are provided in NABARD, which can be provided in a regional rural bank. Then there are the opportunities which are coming up nowadays in a payment bank. Take an example of your payment bank like that of your or a small finance bank like that of your Ujjivan Finance, or take an example of your payment bank like that of your M-Pesa, Airtel Money, which is there. And equally, there is an opportunity in the fintech companies as well, like that of your Paytm or like that of your Google Pay, Amazon Pay. There also, you will get an opportunity wherein you can try to get a job, which will not be a core banking job, but which will be directly or indirectly related with the banking activity. Certain more job roles which are there, which are available as far as the banks are concerned, that can be a clerical probationary officer. Then there can be a credit officer. Now here, when we say the credit officer, here it means that they will be the people who will be marketing the loans of the bank, the housing loan or any other type of the loans of the bank. Then there can be a law officer. So the people who are doing LLB or LLM, since your loan agreements need to be drafted carefully within the purview of that particular banking laws, banking rules and regulation. Therefore, there will be the law officers which will be required in the bank. Then there can be agricultural officers as well, especially the banks, जो banks rural area में काम करते हैं and which give advances to the agricultural and agricultural allied activities. For these particular branches, the agricultural officers who are there, they can also be appointed. Then there can be a foreign exchange officer. So those who will be involved, those who have prior experience as far as forex operations are concerned, they can enter into the bank, they can enter into a treasury department of the bank as a foreign exchange officer. Then there can be a relationship officer. So relationship officer, it means it will be more related with your maintaining a customer relationship. So you will find out that, like in case of your mobile companies, wherein they appoint that particular relationship officer to look after the customer complaints, to look after that particular customer grievances, to service the customer. Same way, in a banks as well, there are concepts of, or there are relationship officers who are appointed. For example, in certain banks, there is a priority banker or a priority officers. Now, these priority officers, their task is to ensure that whatever NRI clients are there, then whatever your, let's say, HNI client, high net worth client is there, these particular clients, they will be serviced. And then there can be a Rajyabhasha officer. Now, a Rajyabhasha officer means there will be a lot of circulars which will be coming from the RBI. Now, these circulars, they may be into English language. Now, Rajyabhasha officer, they will be responsible to ensure that these particular circulars which are coming from the RBI or which are coming from the head offices, these circulars, they will translate it into Hindi language or they will translate it into the regional language as well. So those students who are doing something as far as the languages are concerned, those who are students who are from a MA background or a BA background, these students, they can get an opportunity to work in the bank in the form of that particular Rajyabhasha officer which is there. Now, one important question, before going to the important question, the other related job opportunities which can be there. So far, whatever job opportunities which we have seen, these are the opportunities which are more related with you are actually working in a bank. Now, there are certain allied industries as well, allied sectors as well, which provide a support to the bank. And this support can come in the form of back office jobs. For example, it may happen that, let's say, whatever account opening nowadays, which happens in the bank. Now, majority of the banks which are there, whatever their account opening process is there, or whatever their debit card, credit card processing which is there, they have outsourced it to the third agents. So in that particular third agencies as well, you can get an opportunity to work wherein the account opening form will be there. That particular account opening form details you will be required to enter on into a particular software, and that particular software will be linked with the bank's CBS system. Same thing can happen in case of your checkbook printing as well. So you can get a job into a printing company. Then it can be into your debit and credit card printing as well. Then there can be a certain outsourcing job. So banks, certain of their activities, they can do that particular outsourcing. For example, whatever their recovery is there, the recovery of the loan, that particular recovery of the loan can be given to the outsourcing agency. So in that particular outsourcing agency also, you can get an opportunity to work and you can get an opportunity to get it connected with the banking sector. Then certain of their marketing activities, especially the marketing related with the housing loan and all, you will find out that that activities, that marketing can also be outsourced by the bank. So you can work in any of the agencies which are marketing, which are selling the different kinds of the housing products which are there, housing loan products which are there, or a bank products which are there. And then there can be IT or networking related jobs as well. Now, today, since we are talking about a lot of mechanization, a lot of automation, as far as the banking industry is concerned, computerization of the banking industry is concerned, you will find out that there can be opportunity for the people who are coming from the IT background, wherein they can work with the IT companies which are making the softwares, the core banking solution software for the banks. So take an example of a core banking solution like that of Finacle. Now, Finacle is one of the leading banking software which is developed by the Infosys. So as a software engineer, you can work with the Infosys and still you can be a part of that particular banking industry. Again, since the banks, they work on the CBS core banking solution system, so you need to have that particular connectivity, the interconnectivity, internet connectivity. So there again, your networking related jobs which are there, these particular networking related jobs can also come into the picture. Now, in an outsourcing job, one of the example can be that of your ATM. Now, you will find out that many banks, they have outsourced their ATM operations to certain companies like which are specializing in ATM. For example, a company like your Brinks I, which are responsible for the loading of the cash into the ATM. So there also you can get that particular job opportunity and you will be get it connected with the banking industry. Now, one important question to all the people who are streaming this particular, looking at this particular video is, are you willing to do the marketing? Now, in case, if your answer is no, then remember one thing, it will be difficult for you as a student, as a, let's say, a prospective candidate to survive in the bank. आज आप जब भी बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हो तो बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री में मार्केटिंग करना जरूरी है. If you think that as a bank manager you will be sitting in the bank branch and the customers will come to you, there will be a walking customers who will be keep on coming to you, that is not going to happen. Because today the level of competition which is there as far as a bank is concerned, banking industry is concerned, that has increased a lot. See, the days are gone when people had a limited branches. वो दिन गए जब भी आपके पास बहुत कम बैंक्स थे और आपको वो अकाउंट ओपनिंग के लिए बहुत कम बैंक्स अवेलेबल थे. आज today if you see, even the state bank is also aggressive as far as their banking is concerned. See, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you will find out that State Bank of India, they were not required to do the advertising as far as their housing loan, as far as the saving products were concerned or the deposit products were concerned. And today you will find out that on all the important stations, on all the important bus routes, on all the digital media platform as well, you will find out that the State Bank of India also, they are doing the advertisement, even if they are the largest bank. So if you think that you want to do a job in a bank and you are not willing to do, or you are not going to do the marketing, then sorry, in this case, you are not fitted to that particular job which is there, or you are not fitted to that particular banking industry is there. So if you're working in a bank, you need to ensure that you are ready to do that particular marketing, you are ready to do that particular selling of the banking product. Now, since we have a limited time, therefore, I would try to touch upon one small concept related with the banking examinations which are there. Now, in the earlier slides, I have shown you that particular number of applications which has been received as far as the banks are concerned, as far as the IBPS examination is concerned. Now, I would like to revisit you people again to this particular slide. Just have a look at this particular slide. I have informed you that it is always a competitive, it's always a cutthroat examination which is there, wherein you will find out that from the last 2 to 3 years, there has been a more than 12 lakh applications which has been received as far as your bank PO exams are concerned, clerical exams are concerned, as far as your specialist officers are concerned, as far as your RRB is concerned. So if you are one of them, if you are out of that particular 12 lakh people, and if you want to ensure you are cracking that particular examination, then in that case, you need to remember that it is all about a common sense and it is all about your race against a time. Now, the questions which will be asked in these particular PO examinations or clerical examinations, you will find out that these will be the questions which will be very preliminary in nature. For example, when we talk about a numerical aptitude, when we talk about the quantitative aptitude, you will find out that these particular questions which are there, these will be the questions which will be covering your mathematics from 1st standard to 10th standard. But only the difference is that in a 1st to 10th standard, when you people were solving this particular numerical sums, then that time you were getting around 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Now here, whatever your questions are there, you need to solve it somewhere in 45 to 60 seconds. So it is always a race against a time. And if it is a race against a time, then in that case, if you're going in a traditional way, the traditional method of solving that particular the questions, then in that case, mark my word, you are never going to clear the banking exams. So banking exams, it's all about your shortcuts. Banking exams is all about your practice. Now, I will take 2-3 examples and we will try to figure it out what we can do it or what kind of the shortcuts we need to find it, or we need to find it out, and we need to figure out ourselves. Now, remember again a cautions, all these particular shortcuts which are there, these particular shortcuts, you need to figure it out on your own. And for figuring out this particular shortcuts on your own, you need to ensure that you are solving at least 500 to 700 examples from each category. Now, there is a one question. Select a figure from the amongst the answer figure, which will continue the same series as the example. So you will find out that A, B, C, D, E, these are the things which has been given. This is a series which has been given. And from this, we need to find out what can be the next, whether it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if we go by the traditional way or a traditional method, then in that case, probably we will take around 1 minute or 1 minute 10 seconds, 1 minute 20 seconds to solve this particular question. Now, there are certain methods wherein we call it as a back solving. Back solving means I'm not looking at this particular question at all. For a time being, just do not look at the question. Just look at the answers which has been given. Now, in this case, you will find out that, let's say, in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when you compare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you will find out that in all the diagrams, the black dotted circle which is there, that has been given on the left corner, left bottom corner. Only in case of 2, that has not been given. So the chances that your 2 is answer is very rare. So your 2 has been eliminated. Now, if you see again, then you will find out that this particular square which is there, the square is there in 1, 2, in the 3, the square is not there. In 4 and 5, the square is there, at least in the second line. So in a 3, the square is not there. So your 3 which is there, that has gone. Now, if you look at the upper corner, as far as this particular exam is concerned, or as far as this particular, let's say the example is concerned, then in that case, you will find out that in all these particular example, let's say the 2 we have eliminated, 3 we have eliminated. Now, the thing is that we know that whatever answer is there, that will come from 1, 4, and 5. Now, again, if we compare this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together, you will find out that in case of, let's say 1, the minus, let's say in this case, there are 3 rows, there are 3 rows, there are 2 rows, 3, 3, 2. Then you have 2, 1, 3. Here 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. So now the thing is that we need to figure it out from 1, 4, and 5. Which is the one which can be best suited as far as that particular example is concerned. Now, if you see the concept, if we compare this particular figures again, then you will find out that in this particular case, 1, 1, 1, this one, and this one. Now, 1, 4, and 5. Here, if you see, in these 2 cases, this particular dash which is there, that is in a common place. Here the dash has gone somewhere else. Here also the dash is in the middle. So your one answer which is there, that has also gone down. So now only the chance which is there, as far as your correct answer is concerned, that will be from your 4 and a 5. So what we have done, rather than working with all the 5 cases which are there, we have eliminated 1, 2, and 3. And we know that now 4 and 5, from the 4 and 5, there is a one common answer which will be there. Now, again, if you compare this square, in all the cases, the squares are given on this particular side. Only in this case, this is there. So your 5 will not be answered. The correct answer will be your 4. Now, this, you can try to do it over a period of time when you're solving more and more sum. So only way or only thing by which you can try to figure out this particular quick answer is with the help of the practice which you are doing. Now, again, the same type of the example, you will find it out that in this case, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 3 and a 4, they are different. So 3 and a 4, they are not going to be the answer. Now you will find out that here, 5 is the only one which is having on a downside. So 5 is not going to be your answer. Now here you will find out that everywhere the black part which is there, that is here. So in case of 2, that is on the second phase. So 2 is definitely not going to be the answer. So your correct answer which will be there, that will be your answer 1. Then example as far as your numerical sum is concerned. Now in a numerical sums, what happened? Basically, every one of us, we have studied about time, speed, and distance. Now, if we are going to solve this particular sum in the form of time, speed, and distance, and if you're going to use that particular formula, writing formula itself will take more than 35 to 40 seconds. Putting the values into formula, more 25 seconds. So the total, let's say the time which will be required, that will be somewhere around, let's say, more than 1.5 minutes. Now, if you see this particular problem, then you will find out that, let's say they have given 125 meters, 5 meters, 10 seconds. So that means whatever your answer is there, your answers definitely have a factor of 5. A 5 is a numerical number that is going to play an important role as far as the answer of this particular sum is concerned. So whatever answer which we will be getting, that particular answer will definitely be divisible by 5 because 5 is already there. Or 5, all these particular numbers which are there, that we can get it divided by 5. Now here you will find out that the answers which can be divided by 5 is this, this, and this. So automatically your C answer which is there, that will go. Now we have three answers which are divisible by 5. Now if you see here, they have given 10 seconds. So 10 seconds, we can take it from the perspective of 2 into 5. So whatever answers which we have, that particular answer need to be divisible by 2 as well. So this 45, that will go out of the picture. This 55 which is there, that will go out of the picture. And then the chances that your answer is 50, that is very high. So what happened? These are the way by which you need to solve these particular type of the examples which are there. Then we have a data interpretations as well. The tables will be given, and on the basis of these particular tables, we need to understand, we need to figure it out, and we need to find out the answer. Now, if we are doing it mathematically, then in that case, that will be very difficult. हम लोग को वो एक 30-40 seconds में answer मिलना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Now the question is, the companies M and N together had a percentage of a profit and loss. Whether they have a profit or whether they have that particular losses which are there. Now here you will find out that we are talking about company M and we are talking about company N. Now when we are talking about a company M and N, whether we need to find out whether they have a profit, whether they have a losses. Now if you see, then these are, let's say, 1 unit, and this is 1 unit. So there are 2 units which are there. So 2 lines which are there. Similarly, in this case also, there are 2 lines which are there. So since both of them, they have that particular 2 lines, therefore, we can say that there is no profit or there is no loss. Second question, which company earned a maximum percentage profit in the year 2001? Now they have given an option M, N, P, and Q. Now if you see MN, now your blue stand for expenditure, then green stand for your income. Now in case of M, your expenditure is more, so that is gone. In case of N, your income and expenditure, so there are 2 units which are there. So for N, there are 2 units. Then when we compare with the P, there is only 1 unit. And then when we compare with the Q, there are again 2 units. So definitely M is not answer. Then your P is not the answer. Now there is a tie between N and Q. Now you will find out that for the Q as well, there are 2 units. But if you see this particular Q, then this particular Q as a base, that base is less as compared to that of your N. So your answer which is there, that will be Q only. So if you see, we have not used any of the numbers which has been given. Only with the help of these particular lines which are there, we have tried to figure it out. And we have tried to find out that answer. Now you may ask the question, in case if these particular, let's say, the grid lines which are there, if that has not been given and you are not allowed to use a ruler, then in that case, how you need to do it? Then in that case, you need to do it by using your hand. So this particular, let's say, this is a 1 unit, this is a 2 unit, this is a 3 unit. So that way you can try to use your fingers on the papers and you can try to find out these particular answers in less than 35 to 40 seconds which are there. Now, important question, many people or many candidates who lose the marks, they either lose the marks in the numericals or they lose the marks in the current affairs or the general awareness. Now, always remember one thing, when it comes to a general awareness, in case of the general awareness, you need to see to it that you are covering all the events for the last 7 to 8 months. So if your exam is somewhere in the month of January, you rewind it back for the last 7 months. And from that particular last 7 months, whatever the important events which are there, these particular events you need to study. Now, when I say the important events you need to study, then that time you need to have an approach which will be, I call it as a 360-degree approach as far as the reading is concerned. Now, take a simple example. Now, currently, the breaking news or the important news which is there at an international level, that is about the Russia and Ukraine war. Now, definitely, they are not going to ask you the simple question like between which countries the wars are going, because everybody knows about it. It is between Russia and Ukraine. Now, when we are looking or when we are reading this particular news, then in that case, we need to we need to dissect or we need to analyze this particular news from the different aspect. वो एक अलग-अलग नजरिए से ये news को हमको देखना चाहिए. For example, the current president, they are not going to ask you who is the current president as far as Russia is concerned, because everybody knows it. He is a Putin. But they will ask you from which date to which date he was a president. Then he was a prime minister from which date to which date. Then again, when he became the president, then what was his former job? So he was a former KGB chief. Then when it comes to Ukraine, they are not going to ask you who is the current president. Instead of it, they will ask you this particular person is which president, which number president. So he is a 6th number president. When he has come into the power, he has come into the power in 2017. He is belonging from which party? He is belonging from the Servant of the People party. Then which is a capital? They are not going to ask you the capital, but they may ask you on which river the capital is situated. Then you need to know about first president of the Ukraine, and you need to know about a 5th president as well. Then it is related with the NATO as well. So they may ask you the full form of NATO. Who has created the NATO? Who are the founding members of the NATO? Then what are the Ukraine's status as far as the NATO relationship is concerned? And then from the Indian concern as well, Indian perspective as well, the question can be asked. So when it comes to India, when the India has given that particular recognition as far as the Ukraine is concerned, when the diplomatic relationship started, what are the major imports and what are the major exports which are coming or which are happening with the Ukraine? So in a general awareness, majority of the time, the students, they are not able to score because of the fact that when they are reading the news, they read the news only in a one dimension. Instead of it, it is expected that you are reading that particular news, which will be a multi-dimensional news. So from this particular small news of Russia and Ukraine, we try to create a 4 dimension. Now, many of you may try to create a 10 different dimensions. And these particular 10 different dimensions, out of the 10 dimensions, there can be a 1 or 2 questions, or there can be 3 or 4 questions which can come related with that particular dimensions which are there. So this is what, and this is how you need to study as far as this particular banking examination is concerned. And this is what the different types of the career opportunities which are there as far as your banking sector is concerned. So this is what all information which I wanted to share with you people from my side. Now the session is open. If any one of you have any of the questions, any of the doubts, then I will be very happy to take up that particular questions and to take up that particular doubts which are there. So thank you for patiently listening, and thank you for the opportunity as well. So any questions?
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, it was a very nice session, sir. बहुत ही बढ़िया सेशन था, और बहुत सारे छोटे इंफॉर्मेशन इसमें यहाँ पे हमको देखने को मिली. सर कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं, एक्चुअली में वी आर ऑन यूट्यूब लाइव, सो द क्वेश्चंस आर देयर विथ मी इन द चैट बॉक्स. सो सर उसको एक एक करके हम उस क्वेश्चंस को लेते हैं.
डेफिनेटली सर,
वन बाय वन. एज सर मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि नॉट ओनली फॉर अ बैंकिंग एंड इंश्योरेंस, बट बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का, स्पेशली गर्ल्स का एक ऐसे ड्रीम होता है कि आफ्टर माय ग्रेजुएशन कि मुझे अच्छे से बैंक में जॉब मिले. जो आपने आई होप सो 7 to 8 years फेडरल बैंक के वाज अ असिस्टेंट मैनेजर. सो सर यहाँ पे उनका ये कहना है कि हम जो बुक्स कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स जैसे IBPS होता है या और भी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स होते हैं, उसके लिए हमें कौन से बुक्स को रेफर करना चाहिए, कौन से बुक्स?
ओके, थैंक यू सर. देखिए बेसिकली क्या हो जाता है कि आपके जो कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशंस होते हैं, आपके कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन ये एक रेस अगेंस्ट टाइम होता है. आप अगर कॉम्पिटिटिव कौन से भी बैंक के कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स देखें तो उनके जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं वो टाइम, स्पीड एंड डिस्टेंस, जो मैथमेटिक्स आपने कवर किया है आपके फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड से 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक, सो वो मैथमेटिक्स ही आपको होता है. तो वो मैथमेटिक्स आपको कम से कम टाइम में सॉल्व करना होता है. तो आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के बहुत सारे रेफरेंस बुक्स होते हैं, बहुत सारे मैगजीन्स भी आते हैं. और अभी सिंस ये एक कॉलेज का प्लेटफॉर्म है, कॉलेज के प्लेटफॉर्म से मैं किसी पब्लिशर को मार्केट करूं वो बराबर नहीं लगता है. बट आप अगर मार्केट में जाएंगे तो आपको दिखेगा कि बहुत सारे मटेरियल कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के ऊपर अवेलेबल है. और आप अगर गूगल पे भी जाइए, आप अगर यूट्यूब पे भी जाइए, तो आपको मिलेगा कि बहुत सारा मटेरियल फ्रीली अवेलेबल है. तो आप क्या करिए, आप एज अ स्टूडेंट आप एक आपका खुद का क्वेश्चन बैंक मैथ्स का बनाइए और वो क्वेश्चन बैंक आप खुद सॉल्व कीजिए. और सॉल्व करते वक्त आप ये ध्यान में रखिएगा कि आपको शॉर्टकट से ही सॉल्व करना है. आप अगर आपके ट्रेडिशनल मेथड से जा रहे हो तो आप ये बैंकिंग एग्जाम जो है वो आप कभी भी क्रैक नहीं कर सकते.
मतलब एक स्मार्ट वे होना चाहिए, शॉर्टकट मेथड
सर, स्मार्ट वे होना चाहिए. और करंट अफेयर्स के लिए इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप एज अ स्टूडेंट हर दिन कम से कम 3 न्यूज़पेपर पढ़े. और आप जब भी न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हो तो सिर्फ पढ़िए मत, आप आपकी एक नोटबुक मेंटेन करके उसमें वो इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स अपडेट कीजिए. क्योंकि बैंकिंग एग्जाम्स में आपके जो जनरल अवेयरनेस के क्वेश्चंस होते हैं वो जनरल अवेयरनेस के क्वेश्चन 7 से 8 महीने के पहले के होते हैं. और ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन आप कलेक्ट कर रहे हो जनरल अवेयरनेस, ये आपको ना सिर्फ आपके एग्जाम में बेनिफिशियल रहेगा, बट इट कैन बी बेनिफिशियल व्हेन यू आर अपेयरिंग फॉर द इंटरव्यू, व्हेन यू आर अपेयरिंग फॉर द ग्रुप डिस्कशन एज वेल. तो तभी आप एक स्टैंड आउट हो जाते हो.
क्या बात है. थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से इसको समझाया. एक और क्वेश्चन है सर हमारे पास. So there is any age limit for giving PO exam?
See, as far as a PO exams is concerned, PO exams के लिए एज लिमिट होते हैं. और जब भी IBPS उनके एग्जामिनेशंस के सर्कुलर आ जाते हैं तो तभी IBPS they mention in the notification that particular age limit. और वो एज लिमिट के साथ वो लोग for certain category there is a relaxation as well as far as your examination or let's say आपके age limits concern होते हैं, but age limit तो होती ही है, especially in case of your PO examination. समवेयर अराउंड 20 to 30 years के आसपास एज लिमिट होता है, मिनिमम 20 years, मैक्सिमम इट कैन बी अप टू 30 years. अगर आप सर्टेन एक्स सर्विसमैन हो तो उसमें आपको 5 years एक्सटेंशन मिल जाता है. बाद में आप अगर पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी PWD हो तो उसमें 10 साल का एक्सटेंशन मिल जाता है. तो आपके जो एज लिमिट वगैरह है वो एज लिमिट पहले से ही तय होते हैं. और आपके जब ये एग्जामिनेशंस आ जाते हैं तो एग्जामिनेशंस के नोटिफिकेशन में IBPS भी है और प्राइवेट बैंक्स भी है और आपके कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स भी है, वो उनके एडवर्टाइजमेंट में वो उनके एज लिमिट वो डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं.
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. और बाकी के जो मैं चैट्स देख रहा हूँ लगातार जो आ रहे हैं, सेशन वाज गुड, सेशन वाज नाइस, द इंफॉर्मेशन वाज वेरी टू द पॉइंट के हमें एक्चुअली में करना क्या चाहिए. जैसे कि लास्ट स्लाइड आपने यहाँ पे दिखाया कि यूक्रेन और जो भी रिसेंटली जो वॉर चल रही है तो उसके ऊपर आपको किस तरीके से प्रिपेयर करना है, किस तरीके से उसमें आपको ध्यान देना है, करंट अफेयर्स आपको किस तरीके से नोट डाउन करके रखना है. सो आई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रियली सर thank you from the bottom of my heart on the behalf of whole SST family that आपने अपना कीमती समय निकाला और हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को इस तरीके से आपने मार्गदर्शन दिया. And along with that, I will also like to thank our respected Dr. J.C. Pushpani, a founder principal of SST College of Arts and Commerce, who has given us the opportunity to the BCBI department for conducting such a nice session. So I congratulate all for a successful conduction of this session. So thank you very much. I conclude here. Sir, we have also have a feedback link. So students, I'm putting that link in your chat box. और सर इसके बाद आपने लास्ट स्लाइड में अपना नंबर भी शेयर किया है.
yes,
और भी कुछ डाउट होगा तो स्टूडेंट्स विल कांटेक्ट यू.
Definitely sir.
Feedback link is there in the chat box. Students, you can fill the feedback links. Thank you very much.